Good morning, Attorney Justine Villanueva. Good morning or good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, we are happy that you are here with us in the KAGLAMBAGA radio program. Ang KAGLAMBAGA radio program is a weekly program sponsored by the Bukidnon Study Center. So, Justine, maybe the first part is kumustahan? Kumusta ka? Kumusta diha?
Maayo kaayo. Mag-acknowledge ng kuha na ako din sa
yes, please proceed.
Winton Patwin Homeland sa Davis, California. It's about 7 o'clock here, so gabi, that's where I am. And acknowledge po ko sa akong ancestors nga taga Malaybalay, taga Bukidnon. Akong lola gikan sa Kalasungay. Ang apelyido niya is Apoong. Akong lolo, ang ngalan sa akong lola si Felipa, si Lola Epang. Ang aking lolo, by way of Cebu, nakaabot siya sa Malaybalay, Bukidnon. Si Lolo Filimon, Lolo Imon, na atay tindahan sa atpang sa Bukidnon State University, Masagana Store. I used to listen to DXMB there. So naay ka may history with listening to radio stories. So anyway, kumusta ko? Maayo. Very excited to be here. Very grateful. Pasalamat ko nga i-invite ko ninyo.
Thank you also, Justine, for accepting our invitation and gi-consider good sa Bukidnon Study Center and Bukidnon State University that you are one of our partners. And of course, we remember the Jack and Agyo and other books that you are working on. So, Justine, you are working with the Sawaga River Press. So, kanap itong pag-una yun ako pagtanaw or pagkabasa sa Sawaga River Press, na ano ko na amaze ko. And why Sawaga? What is in that name, Sawaga?
Sawaga yun. Ang memory sa ako for Sawaga, no? So, I grew up sa Bukidnon. I went all the way sa high school, sa Bukidnon State College High School. So, daghan, all my memories, mag-cutting class, madto sa Sawaga, mag-abok, sa fertilizer for our, for the garden sa Bali, daghan mga gira-gira with the friends from Central School, So when I think about my past and how I was raised and what I brought with me here, ang Sawaga River, dako kay siya nga part sa akong kinabuhi. And so I immigrated here sa US when I was 16. And so when I had a chance to really remember akong childhood, muna siya ginang nag-come up sa akong brain first time. And then also acknowledging to nga nila water is life, tubig dako kay nga part sa akong kinabuhi. So I use that as a way to remember myself, remember my past, but also acknowledging na anak ko din sa America. But there's a lot of water still, like we have creeks and rivers, and so it's a way for me to connect life before, even though na anak ko din because water in a way, it's this.
Yeah.
And we are all water too, right?
Like
4 elements within our bodies. So it's very meaningful for me, and especially the Sawaga River. So shout out to my classmates kung naay mga taga BSc high nga mga classmates nga naminaw. I know daghan ta mga cutting classes nga memories related to Sawaga.
Yes, now we know nga ang background sa Sawaga. No? Are you working with the team Justine in the Sawaga River Press, unsa ang objectives, can you share to us unsa ang objectives of the Sawaga River Press?
Sure. So actually, nag-start ni siya before it became Sawaga River Press. Nag-start ko sa una, mga more than 10 years ago, a non-profit called Libro para sa Tanan. So ang objectives na ako adto was to donate mga used books from here. Padala na ako sa mga libraries in Bukidnon through the help of my cousins who are still there, sila Alma Co Villanueva. So muto siyang beginnings ani nga non-profit, but then afterwards, after pila ka years of donating books, nakanahuna ko nga gasend ko mga mga English books, which is still good, but I was thinking nga dili kaayo relevant ang materials to the community nga akong hatagan, and I thought maybe mas maayo if we make our books dinhi sa America, and then mag-donate somehow from our proceeds, from our profits to the like to the Bukidnon Study Center for that, so that naasi gamay nga tabang for them to actually make their own books. So muna nga akong overall goal instead of donating. So then we changed, nag-create ang demi og Sawaga River Press nga publishing part sa non-profit. So now ang goal namo is to publish books like Jack and Agyo, hopefully na ay relation to Bukidnon because where I'm from, and then and be able to help through what profits we make, help future storytellers from the Bukidnon community also. So that's kind of what our vision and our goal is. Ang team namo right now, we are a small team. It's actually comprised of myself, my sister, my younger sister, Julianne, and then my husband, Michael Lines. And then we have a team of creatives like our illustrators and our graphic designers. And every once in a while, we hire somebody to help us with the marketing, but on a as needed basis. We're hoping to expand, so it's an exciting time right now because we have plans of expanding and creating more books. So wish us luck.
Okay. Yeah, that's very inspiring, no? And then Justine, you have mentioned about the Jack and Agyo. What inspired you to write that book?
Yes. So I know, in case.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's hard because it's blurry man, but that's okay. So many reasons. This is actually it's a personal story for me and my kid. When si Jack, actually his name is Jack. Pag bata pa siya, gusto siya mahimong Harry Potter, mag-costume as Harry Potter. But giingnan ko niya nga, Mama, I don't think I can become a good Harry Potter. Naing ko siya, ano man, like, like, maayo kay kang Harry Potter, all the mga magic, mga incantation nila. And then he told me, ingon niya nga, well, because my skin is gray. Wala daw siya nag-match sa color ni Harry Potter. So, at that point, nakahuna ako, oh my gosh, at that young age, he was probably 6, maybe 7. Na-internalize na niya ang message, from the books. The books na he read. Gamay ra kaayo ang mga characters nga, either Filipino or even just brown skin. It doesn't have to be Filipino, just because most of the characters are like mga puti, blonde ang buhok. I mean, that's how it was when I was growing up. I don't know, probably same for you, right?
Yeah.
So, na-realize na ako nga, even at that age, na-shape na siya. Na-shape na ta. We have been shaped by the books that we are reading without being conscious about it. So, that was my main thing was, okay, let's write a book that celebrates these kids instead, And part of the message that I also wanted to get out there through the story is that also we, yung mga adults, no, parents or educators or just storytellers sa ating community, we have some kind of responsibility a little bit to share what we know because gamay ra kayong out there, and then we have to make the effort to just pass what we know. So that's why oral storytelling for me is such a big thing that I want to push for. To just pass on our knowledge, especially like this. As you know, I featured Binukid with the help of the Bukidnon Studies Center. I don't know how to speak it, but we tried to get that in Binukid, also Bisaya, and then we also had a little bit of Paypayin. And it's just really planting the seeds for the kids now to read this book and say, oh, first of all, oh, I can see myself, but oh, also there are stories beyond Harry Potter. Like, there's Agyu. I asked my dad, my papa who grew up in Bukidnon, and he's never heard of Agyu, right? And I don't know if my classmates know about Agyu. I know you know about Agyu, but I didn't know about Agyu, right? And lisod kayo mag-research kaya mayra ang mga materials out there.
Yes,
so,
oo.
So muna siya, I mean, language, and then stories nato, and then really for me also is like a big thing about this is self-identity, self-identity, self-love, self-pride, like it's all about ourselves, because for how many years under colonization we're beat down, and then think we're inferior to the Spaniards and now to the Americans. We always we feel like we've been beaten down and we're fractured, broken tayo, na-break tayo, but we're still here. So that's why my push is like being here, hearing about our stories, despite all the attempts of all those colonizers to kind of erase us and our identities. We're still here, and that's kind of a big resistance, right? It's like a big, I'm gonna do my outside, but it's a resistance to being colonized. So I hope that we kids and also adults will read this book and be reminded to keep loving ourselves, keep healing by learning about our ancestors, about our stories, because that is our way of kind of resisting. We're still here. So I don't know. Long story. Long answer there, Mansol, but
yeah. That's precious. That's very precious, no, kay. For the KAGLAMBAGA, we have varied listeners and viewers. So we always invite the faculty members. Pero bila mo i-remind ang faculty members, especially those who are teaching Bukidnon Cultural Studies. And then we have students, college students, taking Bukidnon Cultural Studies. And statements like this, helpful kaayo ni siya, Justine, the one that you are sharing to us right now, for sure, maka-inspire po sa atong mga faculty members, especially those who have skill in writing stories. Makatabang kaayo, no? So for us also in the Bukidnon Study Center, so far ang katong book nga Jack and Agyu, the city government is still preparing, murag kumbaga renovate nila ang ilang city library, murag na ay ilang buhaton, and we are ready to supply materials, and that includes Jack and Agyu, mga Binukid material for those who want to learn Binukid language, katong elementary gilangyod nga pag-eskwela sa Binukid. Our materials are ready, and we are now collecting other materials para pud makatabang sa atong city government. So we are happy that we have our Jack and Agyo, of course, and more will be coming. What is next after
Yes.
Jack and Agyo? Do you have the next?
Well, yeah, so been working, we have been working on our work in progress book on Mungan, which also the Bukidnon Study Center is helping also collaborating with us. I'm very excited about this Mungan. Also, I didn't know about Mungan growing up. Again, it's something that I learned as I got older, and then I was like, what? You know, Babaylan, Bukidnon, you know, like this is somebody that we all should know. We from Bukidnon should, you know, have knowledge of. So that's our that hopefully will come out at the end of this year. It's another children's book. So that one is also, it's called Mungan and Her Lola, or Mungan and Her Lola, yes. And it's a story about rituals of care. I'll give the short summary, which is basically Mungan is a little kid, wants to make her Lola happy because nasad ang niyang lola. And so by way of like the rituals of care, like nagluto siya og linagpang, naghimo siya og hilot sa iyang lola, nagtukar-tukar siya og mga ancestral nga instruments, and then in the end we hear Lola tell her story about how it was before she came to the United States as a nurse. So it's an immigration story from Lola, and it kind of like it touches on the grief, because you know, here in America, and probably in a lot of countries too, where older people go to, you know, when they're older and they don't have the chance to create a lot of relationships. It's very lonely, no?
Yeah.
To be away from your family in a new place, ganon. So there's a lot of grieving that we as a community haven't really had the chance to process, especially the older folks. But anyway, so this is about healing, intergenerational caring, not just Lola caring for Apo, but also Apo caring for Lola and everybody else in the family. So I'm very excited about that one. It's near and dear to my heart, they say. So wait for it.
Yes. And we are equally excited for the coming out of that book ba. So I am imagining na ana po yung mga book launching for that
Yes.
next book. Yes, Justine, about the San Francisco Pistahan, because I went through some readings and research. Naay kaning San Francisco Pistahan, it's coming. Can you walk us through with this activity?
Sure. So it's a yearly thing. I think it's considered to be the biggest West Coast, at least West Coast here on our side, no, California, celebration. But it's an international celebration of Filipino community, Filipino heritage, culture, lots of food. So it's a 2-day weekend. We have a parade. It's a huge parade up and down Market Street, I think, in San Francisco. And then the festival takes place in the Yerba Buena Gardens, and then it's just nice to be there and to see a lot of Filipinos show up. I'm gonna be there actually. Now that you mention it, I will be there on Sunday the 13th, and I will be reading the Mungan book. And it's part of the Philippine American writers and artists group that have gathered 4 other children's books to read their books. And then but there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of vendors, especially for food, because you know ganahan ta mo ka.
Oo. Murag ma-imagine ako, oh, no, it's a gathering of Filipinos on that particular day with all the food. Justine, we
Yeah.
appreciate your advocacy. Kanang ang imong advocacy is worth to be shared to others, no? Can you inspire our young people here with that advocacy that you have?
Yeah.
Kay naaman may mga listeners nga mga BukSU students and even outside BukSU. Can you inspire them with a message, Justine?
Yes, yes, yes. It's hard. It's hard to keep it short. Pero, you know, I think for me...
Take your time. Take your time.
This whole, tawagon ko na lang siya journey. No, journey for me is a healing journey for myself. Because na-realize na ako na I am because of our country's colonized past. I have been colonized in the way I think, no, in the way I maayo kay kung English sa una. Oh my gosh, you know, I'm a top student, ganon. But not really realizing that sometimes that's also an indication of how colonial mentality has taken over your brain. So for me, this has been a healing journey, and what I learned for myself and how I've kind of come back to myself and learning about myself and therefore my ancestors and my history had really been not just for me but hopefully also healing, helping others in their journeys to also make themselves whole. I don't know if that makes sense. So I am a big advocate for telling your stories. So obviously, you know, I'm a writer and I also publish books. So I really encourage everybody to not just write, because you don't have to write, but to tell your stories in the way that you can creatively. You know, you can dance, of course, you can like do visual arts, however way you can tell your story. And this is the big thing for me that I learned, to be proud of that story, because sometimes mag-worry ka, mag-doubt ka sa imong self about that, pangit man na akong story. Kasi may gusto maminaw sa akong story. Akong story, walay beginning, middle, end, dili siya ka-follow sa arc na ingon nga what a good story should look like. You know, daghan ka ito mga doubts about atong knowledge. So what I want to encourage you out there is to just trust nga ang imong lived experience is valid and it's just as good as anybody else's. And just own it. And sometimes it may feel nga dako kay siya nga it's overwhelming, but just do the little thing that you can and it will over time build. So I hope that inspires somebody, because for me that was one of the biggest thing that I learned, that my stories are good. Like my stories are, you know, I don't have to feel inferior about my stories. Like they're just as good. So kung naamang gani ko yung ma-advise mo, gid na akong i-advise. Tell your story. Ayaw kaulaw sa imong story, I guess. Ayaw kaulaw-ulaw. Walay kaulaw-ulaw.
Yeah. We will declare that to our students, Justine, nga dili gyud mo muulaw sa story, no? Kay it's true nga tsada baka akong story, but here coming from you, no? And I'm sure nga ma-inspire ang atong mga listeners, especially our students. So bisag ako, Justine, no, na-inspire po with your message today. So maybe you have some announcement so that we can also follow through your activity, or mga shout out baka ha, Justine?
Pwede ko mag-shout out sa akong family nga natin,
Yeah.
ha. So ako mga tito and tita Cor, Tito Alex, Tito Ben, Tita Flor, Tita Pai, and all my cousins who are there. A lot of them, they know who they are. So shout out ng focus.
Yeah.
This is a very rare experience na pwede ko mag-shout out. And for updates sa among activities, ang among website is sawagariverpress.com. So if you want to check out kung saan ang mga new books, new activities, that would be the place to check it out.
Yes. Thank you so much, Attorney Justine Villanueva. But Justine, this is not the first and the last, ha? Naapa tayo mga incoming,
oh my God.
mga incoming nga mga encounters in KAGLAMBAGA. So the KAGLAMBAGA would always look forward for more meetings with you. Okay ra, Justine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay kaayo. Ang dako kayo ko pasalamat yun, Ma'am Sol, for the help na i-extend sa ako sa Bukidnon Study Center. Because I know in the few moments that I have, I don't have the expertise, no? I don't have the all that's necessary to anyway, all the help that you have given helped me with putting together the book. Very much appreciated, yun kayo. So it takes it takes a community to raise a child, raise a book, to create a book.
Yeah. So in behalf of Bukidnon Study Center, thank you very much, Attorney Justine Villanueva, for spending time with us in this program nga KAGLAMBAGA. So mga KAGLAMBAGA, diha lang sa mo, sa pipila ka minutos, mubalik ang programa nga KAGLAMBAGA.